Welcome to this edition of Lehigh Valley Visions, a video podcast highlighting area attractions. I'm your host, Tracy Werner. Today we're taking a behind-the-scenes tour of the State Theater Center for the Arts in downtown Easton. During its nearly 100-year history, this facility has seen everything from vaudeville performances and films to stand-up comedians and even rock concerts. Our host for today's tour will be Shelley Brown, President and CEO of the State Theater. Let's get started. Shelley, the State Theater is an amazing facility with a great history. Tell us about it.
Thank you. It's a beautiful building and never disappoints. When people walk in the door, they just are awestruck at the beauty of this theater. It began as a bank before the turn of the century. The inner and outer lobbies were where the bank was, and then the theater was added onto the back. It's been a live performance theater, it's been a vaudeville theater, it's been a movie palace. No posts, no obstructions, perfect acoustics, and then of course live performing theater again. I mean, it's been lovingly restored in 1990, and we think it's just a magnificent place to see a show.
Well, I understand that there is one lover of this theater who has never really left. Fred, your resident ghost?
Every respectable old theater has a ghost. In fact, we have a light that we keep burning all the time on stage, and if you see that when you walk into an old theater, it's called the ghost light for that very reason. It's J. Fred Osterstock, who was the manager of the chain that owned this theater years ago. He was devoted to the theater, in fact even lived here for a little bit, not very long, but when the river flooded and he couldn't get home in the Great Flood. He did not pass in any sort of traumatic fashion, but when he did, he decided to stay here, and we're happy to have him. In fact, he even has his own box. Would you like to see that?
Oh yeah, please, let's go there next.
Okay. And here we are. This is the box, one of our two boxes. This is the one that we call Fred's box. As you can see, a very prestigious seat. Great to be seen. Everyone in the theater can see you. That's very royal. You know, you can sit up here and be important. But this is actually, and ironically, where I actually saw Fred. In fact, I believe it was this seat that he was sitting in.
Oh, tell us about that. I want to know more.
Well, I was out in the lobby and the building was locked and dark, and I was walking by the door and I saw someone sitting here kind of looking at the stage like this. And I backed up and thought, wait a minute, there's not supposed to be anybody in the theater, and came all the way down the aisle and all the way up these stairs saying, excuse me, sir, and got up here and there was nobody here. And I thought, I know him from somewhere. I know him. Who was that? I know that guy. And then, it was Fred. So it was clearly Fred.
And so you've named your annual Spring Awards ceremony after Fred.
Absolutely. We have a program which we call the FREDDY Awards, which honors excellence in high school musical theater. It's every spring. And students from 3 counties, Lehigh, Northampton, and Warren County, New Jersey, if their high school does a musical, they can participate with us. And it culminates in a big, flashy award show performance evening. It's wonderful. The kids are so talented, and it's really an appropriate honor for Fred that we named it the FREDDY Awards.
I understand the opening number where all the students are on stage at the same time is just amazing.
It's dazzling. It's dazzling. And even after 6 years, we all still cry when we see it happen because it's magic.
Shelley, I'd also love to see the State Theater's dressing room. I understand that the different celebrities who are getting ready in there before they go on stage autograph the walls.
We have one dressing room, the star dressing room, that they leave their mark. Let's put it that way. Would you like to see?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's really amazing, all the different autographs and dedications on the walls. How did you start that tradition?
The dressing rooms are really old. They were not renovated, and they're pretty humble. And so we just tried to distract people, started asking them to sign the wall, and it just became such a tradition and such a funky room that the artists love it, we love it. Everybody signs the walls, from Ringo Starr to the Smothers Brothers to the Everly Brothers. Jeff Foxworthy and Bill Engvall write messages to each other on our wall at different times when they appear here. The Broadway cast, anybody has signed our walls.
I think it's important to also mention that there's so much more here than just the theater. You also have an art gallery and a ballroom. Can we check them out next?
Certainly. Let's go.
So here we are in the Akopian Ballroom, and this is really a great facility. I understand you can do all kinds of different events here.
It's a wonderful room. We use it for everything from concerts to shows. We do late night catechism, for example, up here. And we have parties, wedding receptions. We rent the room. It's a very versatile space, and it was donated by the Akopian family, and we use it all the time.
I understand that this room also has a great history, much like the theater does.
It does. This used to be a dance studio called the Nardi Dance Studio. And I always say that if you're over the age of 40, you probably learned to ballroom dance right in this room because it was very famous and it's back when people did that. So we love it and we use it all the time. But we have, this is a very ornate space. We have a beautiful contemporary space, which is our gallery. Would you like to see that?
Yes, please.
Come on, let's go.
Well, the gallery space here on your first floor is a bright contemporary space. When was it added?
The space was actually acquired in the 1980s. This building was a supermarket. It was called the Best Market, so we call it the Best Market building or the gallery, and we use it for parties, we use it for openings, art openings. We've actually done some performance here, concerts. We've had dancing lessons here in this building, but right now it is a fully functioning art gallery with exhibits that change about 4 times a year.
Well, here we are at the end of our tour, Shelley, in the beautiful lobby of the State Theater. Thank you so much for taking the time to show us around today.
Well, thank you. Come back anytime.
Thank you. I hope that you've enjoyed today's tour of the State Theater in downtown Easton and that you'll want to come see a show very soon. For a complete list of this season's performances, visit statetheater.org. And for a list of all of the Lehigh Valley's arts and entertainment venues, visit lehighvalleypa.org. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Lehigh Valley Visions.